In 3, 2...
I'm Cheyenne Schroeder, Assistant Editor of the Hutchinson News. Today I have with me Dedra Maddox, the Director at Hutchinson Community College, and with her is Jack Greenwood, Assistant Director at Hutchinson Community College. And today we're going to talk a little bit about their production of Greenday's American Idiot. First of all, tell me a little bit about your decision to produce this particular show. It's not your standard musical fare.
Right. Well, we do a musical every year. Usually in the April slot, that's where it fits in. And this particular show has been on my list for a long time. I've wanted to do it. A couple years ago we did Spring Awakening, which is another one of those musicals that's sort of about young people, and it's for young people, and it tackles some you know, that was great. I definitely want to do something like that again. And, you know, the opportunity came up. I just felt like I had the perfect group of students right now, and it was the time to do the show. So, and then of course, you know, there's plenty of stuff going on out there in the world, socially and politically, that a play like this that asks those questions, addresses those issues, seems particularly relevant. Right, Jack?
It does, and another thing that she brought up, Spring Awakening, is we actually, Spring Awakening and American Idiot were brought to life by a lot of similar people. And so there are some elements in Spring Awakening that are kind of mirrored in American Idiot. For example, they both had the same director, same lighting designer, same sound designer. And so a lot of the things that maybe audiences liked about us doing Spring Awakening, they might see again in American Idiot. They are two separate stories, but the revolution about young people trying to find their way in life and find their way in a changing lifestyle, it's still there.
It sounds like you just described a college student to me. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Is there something about producing these shows with college students that says something more that maybe an adult theater or any other sort of professional group wouldn't maybe get as strongly as a group of college students?
Yeah, I mean, we do more traditional shows where they play older characters, and that's important for them to do. They need to have that experience. But, you know, they also need to play people their own age. And they need to have the opportunity to deal in theater with characters who are like them, who are experiencing their issues. And, I mean, we went in to this production saying from the very beginning, this show is about you. You could be in this show. Whoever you are, whatever your life is, it could be a part of this show. And I think that's valuable for the young actors involved in the show, and it's also valuable for younger community members who hopefully will be a part of the audience. Although we're perfectly fine with people of all ages coming to see the show. I'm pretty old and I love Greenday, so, you know.
Yeah, as someone, I'm also in the ensemble of the cast, and one of the things that Dedra talked about was if we don't have a specific name, if we're in the ensemble and everything, we can create this character, create this kind of image of ourselves within it and explore the different ideas about what we could be within this show. And that's why you'll see a lot of people that they're up on stage and they're almost themselves but to a level 10 because they've now started to figure out things about themselves and they're mirroring it in this character.
Okay. And this, the book in itself of American Idiot is produced with Greenday songs, and it was written about 2004, so that was George W. Bush, that's pop punk, post-punk era. Now history is cyclical at the same time. Are you seeing some reflections of that time period coming back today? Are there some things that students are able to draw on? You know, it's not Columbine, but there are other situations.
There's the time period coming back, and then there's also just sort of this continuation.
Okay.
A lot of those issues, the malaise that I think a lot of people feel about just years and years and years of us being at war, always with somebody in the Middle East, that just goes on. We haven't experienced a letdown from that. School shootings just are more and more common. And while the play does have one of the characters in the play does join the military and he's shipped off to war. The play doesn't address like violence or school shootings overtly, but all of that is backdrop, all of that is background, and it was in 2004 and it still is today. and the students involved in this production, to them, Green Day is just as fresh and relevant and today as anything they're listening to on the radio. I think that's true for most of our cast members. They know all of these songs. It's what they listen to, even though some of the songs are 20 years old.
Well, and for the audience as well, these are familiar songs. I could sit at home and just listen to Green Day on my own. But when I come to this show, there's a deeper richness to it. Tell me about that. What more do I pick up by seeing you guys perform those songs rather than just listening to them on my own?
Well, I think that you get to identify characters with these songs for like the first time, whether they are characters that are, you know, the main central characters or they're ensemble characters, but you see the different emotions that go through each one of them, and they go through them differently. And it makes you think, you know, wow, when I listened to this song and it was just the Green Day recording, I was thinking, you know, this emotion, I was sad or something, but they're doing it and this is angry, or this is love, it's full of passion. And you get that kind of enrichment of, wow, everybody listens to these songs, but they experience it in different ways. And that's kind of like the reflection that you see within the show. And then you also have the characters that they go through their own stories, and you think about how the music has kind of all united them and how the music has kind of brought them together to tell this story.
Okay. What has surprised you most through the rehearsal process?
Oh gosh, probably not just the rehearsal process, but the production process. Probably how much the students love the show and how much they're bringing to the show. I mean, there are students there right now in between classes, working on the set, working on costumes, finishing things up. They've been staying until midnight, hanging and focusing lights, and it's how willing they are to put in all of that extra work that you know they don't have to do. They're not getting paid for it. You know, they're not even getting class credit for it, but they do the work anyway. So much love, and you know, we did sound check last night before we had our rehearsal, and actors have to talk on the mic and sing on the mic, and several of them, when our sound tech would say, "Can you talk for a little bit?" they would start to tell their character stories. So these are ensemble members who don't really have a name in the script, but they've created these characters, and you know, they're a little bit them, then a little bit pure creation. And I was just like, wow, that is so awesome. You know, they did that. They made those characters, and I think that's, I mean, every theatrical production, every production of a play is different than every other time that play was produced. But that's what makes our production special, is that those people in the ensemble who have no specific name in the script, they are actual people. They've been created. They're characters. You might not know. They might not get the chance to tell you, but you'll never see another production of this play with those characters in it.
And you can look, and the students are proud to show you. They each have journals of different questions that they've answered for themselves. One of the things that Dedra has encouraged them is, like, anytime they enter a song, you know, what are they thinking about? Where did they just come from? And they can answer you really quick. Like, it's not even a moment of hesitation. They don't have to think about it. They thought about all of this. And like I said, they do art projects by themselves. Like, it's not even for the show. They just want to do something because they are so empowered by this show, and they want to do it the best they can.
Yeah. Okay. And all that hard work is going to pay off here pretty quick. Green Day's American Idiot opens on April 12th, runs through the 14th.
Right.
At 7:30 p.m. on the HCC campus. Be sure to catch that. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.